We're not doing Viola?
Uh, well, Viola hasn't appeared yet, so.
Okay.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa Andre. I'm the Executive Director of the Philadelphia Tax Review Board, and we are here to convene a session of the Philadelphia Tax Review Board. Today's category is refuse, and today is September 24th of 2024. With me today is our board chair, Paula Weiss, as well as board members George Matthew, John O'Connor, and Nancy Cameradina. Please be aware that this is a public hearing and it is being recorded. Because the meeting is public, participants and viewers have no expectation of privacy. And by continuing to be in this meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. This recording will be posted on the Tax Review Board website. Paula, I'm going to put in the first case.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. The Tax Review Board for 9/24/24 is now in session. Before we move on to the first case where we have a petitioner present, I'm going to read into the record two administrative matters, and that is case number 1111 Lindley Avenue, last four digits of the docket 5878 has been withdrawn. In addition, case number 5 on the docket, 5632 Elliott Street, last four digits of the docket 5820 has also been withdrawn. We are going to start the hearings today with case number 2, and we're going to wait for the petitioner is in the room. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Autry?
Good afternoon, everybody.
How are you today?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking.
Good. My name is Paula Weiss, Chair of the Tax Review Board. And could you please state your name for the record?
Marcellus Autry.
Mr. Autry, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to turn to the city first in order to get, for the record, the dollar amounts and the years that are in controversy. And then we will come back to you and you'll have an opportunity to tell us why you're here and what you're looking for from the board. Okay? Mr. Peng, I assume this is your matter?
Yeah, Yim Peng's representing the city. Yeah.
Okay, can we get, and who is your witness today?
Ms. Dina Jones.
Ms. Jones, good afternoon.
Good
Could you
afternoon.
state your full name and position with the city of Philadelphia, please?
Deanna Jones. I'm a RCR Revenue Collection rep.
Ms. Jones, you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in all of the matters that come before the board will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Could you please give us the dollar amounts and years in controversy for 2502 West Lehigh Avenue?
The tax is $4,612.50. Penalty is $4,210.27. The interest is $2,908.00. The balance is $11,730.77, and this is for years 2010 through 2023.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. Mr. Peng, do you have any opening comments?
Not at this moment.
Okay, so Mr. Autry, why don't you tell us what brings you here today?
Okay. Initially, I was here a few months ago, and they rendered a decision where the city, it was that the city was held liable, and they supposed to had he waived a certain amount of the interest and penalty. The city supposed to had updated the information, mailed me a copy within 60 days for me to start a new agreement. But the city violated the agreement because they never did anything, and it continues to go to an address, not my address, because I never received anything. So therefore, I'm asking that all the interest and penalties be dismissed, because this is, they continue to do the same thing. The person that saw the case the last time agreed that the city was sending the information to the wrong address. The city agreed that they would fix everything, and they didn't.
Okay. Ms. Andre, could you help us out here with the Tax Review Board history? Was there a prior hearing in front of a hearing officer?
That is correct. There was a department level hearing on February 7th of 2024. It covered the periods of 2010 to 2024. It abated 50% of the interest and 50% of the penalty, and it said to arrange installment agreements within 60 days. That was on February. The decision letter went out on February 9th. and Mr. Autry appealed it on March 26th of 2024.
Okay. Thank you. And is that all you have to tell us at the moment, Mr. Autry?
Yes, I'll wait for the gentleman to finish, speaking.
Okay, Mr. Peng?
From what I can see in the system, there is no agreement whether it's TRB based or not. Ms. Jones, can you clarify this?
I don't see any notes in the system from that time frame.
Okay, Ms. Jones, can you tell us where the bills are being sent?
According to our system, it's going to a 7218 Marcy Street, apartment 7. That's Norfolk, Virginia, 23505.
Okay, and do you see any record of a prior tax review board hearing and decision?
From that time frame, no, I do not. I don't see no notes in the system.
Thank you. Mr. Autry, what address should the city have been sending information to?
7218 Marcy Street, the address you just said. But I did make a trip here prior to coming here a few months ago, and I stopped down City Hall, and they said they had no records of the hearing being said. As the leader just said, we did have a hearing, and everything must have been updated, sent to this address, and it's still not getting. Now, I received a letter from the Tax Review Board. That's why I was able to appeal it. So one part did theirs, but they didn't do theirs. And
Okay.
the interest and penalty keeps going up.
Yes, it does. So let me explain to you, I understand what you're saying, and we will look at all of it. The fact that you have appealed from the hearing officer means that this board starts all over again to look at the matter with you. We are not influenced or bound by what the hearing officer's decision was. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this property and how these refuse fees became so delinquent?
Well, I owned the property since 1993, is that mistaken? But these at that time they wasn't doing this particular assessments for the properties. It's
Mhm.
changed some years later. But during this time, I was incarcerated for a little while, and when I was released, I found out there were some bills on it, and I tried to get them resolved. But the city kept sending it, if they were sending information to the wrong address. Every time I called them to get it fixed, they said they would fix it, and it never was fixed, and it just kept continuing. And when not understand what the hand officer said, all this is brought to the attention of the hand officer, and the gentleman that represented the city at that time announced the same thing. That's why he made a decision to just, we're going to abate, abate this, abate a little bit of that, and try to get it straight. To try to basically give both sides a little something. But like I said, it keeps continuing. I'm trying to get it straight, but they're not helping me.
So you just did testify that the 7218 Marcy Street address is now correct?
Right.
Is that, and I guess, I don't know if Ms. Jones can tell, Ms. Jones, when did that become the address of record for mailing?
They changed that. Let me see if it'll show. It's always been that from when he recorded the deed. Because it's saying from January 1, 1939. So we always had that Marcy Street address.
I was living on Lambert Street when I recorded this original deal on this property in 93. I was living in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And even the papers they gave me today has a different address, has a Boise Lane address. The updated, the paper they submitted me today from here at the office doesn't have the address, has another address on it.
Right, now I see that address, but that is saying from my system, it's saying collection. So I don't know if the collection agency have that 521 Boise Vane Avenue. That's what you're talking
Yeah,
in
that's not
reference?
my address.
See, that comes from collection. So that is on your account as well.
Like I said, but all that supposed to have been fixed the last time. Like I said, all this is understood. Like I said, it's something with the system. Because I went to City Hall and I talked to a few people. Eva came here. I think I talked to a lady. I think it might have been you. And I've been trying to get this resolved. But it's one thing. I understand the interest and penalties. I understand. You got to pay them. But if you render a decision, you have to honor the decision too. But if you don't, like for now, since that time, the interest and penalties have kept accruing. So it's actually more, even if you get the same decision.
Right. So let me ask you a couple more questions. What kind of property is that? Is this?
Mixed use.
And what's it being used? Is it being rented currently?
It just got rented last year. It's been rented, as you said, right, but it just got rented. So I'm trying to use the proceeds to try to, like, you know, pay, like, try to get agreement and pay it down, or try to get time to do it.
Okay, so you have, I assume then, or let me ask you, have you made any payments towards this bill at all?
Well, I've been trying to wait to get it straight because I didn't want to make a payment, then I get locked in to all the interest and penalties that's on the bill when I really think I shouldn't be required to pay them. Because the city, like I said, but they haven't been doing their job, as you can see with their system, to update where the information needs to get. I mean, I can't even get a contract, you know, to get started.
So if we do give you a favorable decision with waiver of some or all of the interest and penalty, are you prepared to enter into a payment agreement to pay the balance?
Yeah, if I can have a 3 days, 60, if I can get, he said before 60 to 90 days for them to get everything straight to send it to me. I mean, I think that much time would be okay. I can have something in place by then.
Okay.
Or start something before then. They don't, I mean, whatever time you give me. If 90 days is okay, I mean, that would be helpful.
All right, Mr. Payne, do you have any further questions?
Yeah, I do have some question for the petitioner first. So just to some clean house questions. So you are the owner of 2502 Lehigh Avenue, correct?
Yes.
So this property is a multi-family property with 3 stories building, correct?
Yes.
And you're saying you've been renting this property?
No, I just started last October. I signed the lease.
Okay, so who lives in the property during the disputed period?
Nobody.
So you're saying from you're saying for the disputed period that the property was completely empty and vacant?
No, well, it's been vacant since I've been back home, but during the time I was away, I wasn't in control of the property to actually managing it physically.
Okay, so you wouldn't have the information for the disputed period.
No.
Okay. So addressing your notice issue, you're saying you never received any bills?
No.
So Ms. Jones just mentioned that the current city address have you is 7218 let me just confirm that 7218 Marcy Street. So that is your correct Norfolk, Virginia. That is your correct address?
That's correct. That's my current address. But the last time I was here, the city was sending the mail to an address unknown. They have no way of where they were sending the mail at. That was the whole key.
Okay.
If you look at the notes from the last time we was here, when asked to represent the city, where was the mail going at, they couldn't say where the mail was going.
So so I'm assuming for this property, do you have a property manager or you manage it yourself?
But right now I can do it myself. That's why I'm here, and that's why I got the new agreement put in place last year.
So what about the periods that are in dispute? Think
No.
2010 to okay, no.
I wasn't able to because I was away.
Okay, so at that point, so nobody was basically nobody was taking care of property at that point?
Not at that time, no. It's like
Okay.
you can ask somebody, but when it was getting done, I couldn't see it.
Okay. Did you ever contact the city to change your mailing address?
Yes, I did. All the time. And they say they update it all the time, but it never gets updated. And they say, I mean, for what it's worth, I was here the last time and I went down City Hall and they said the city has an old system that is, you know, that's how it works. I don't understand, but they said sometimes it takes a long time to get things done, whatever department it may be in.
Okay, so you said you weren't able to receive city communication. So how did you find out about your refuse fee in the first place?
When I went and opened the door up and I saw that a letter that had got there.
So who sent you that letter? According to the letter,
The city.
So you're saying you did receive city's
Well, I didn't
letter.
receive anything from the city. I wasn't at the what's your name to receive the letter.
Was it at the
My
property
address,
itself?
my address is in Virginia. The property address is in Philadelphia.
Okay, so you say you received,
I don't live in the city.
so you're saying you received the letters from this, the property address?
At
That's
that
what he
time,
said, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, okay, all right, do you, sir, do you, pay your real estate tax bills?
Do I pay my real estate tax bill?
Yeah,
Yeah, that comes to me in Virginia.
okay, so in fact, from my understanding system, your real estate tax bill is almost caught up, right? It's you paid a portion, you paid everything until 2023 and portion of 2024, correct?
Right.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to show the board some documents.
Okay,
Uh,
share your screen.
Give me a second. Okay, let me share the screens. Okay. All right. Share. Okay. Can anybody see a bill on the screen?
No.
Okay. How about now?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see
Yes.
it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, this, Ms. Marcellus, would, can you tell us what is this?
It's a real estate tax bill, but the address is not where I'm staying at now.
This
That's-
was a real estate tax bill of 2023. Can you read this green part at the top of the bill?
Yeah, real estate tax bill, 23.
2023. Okay. Is this your address at 2020 in 2023?
No,
But you did receive this bill.
no,
Otherwise,
no, I didn't receive that bill. When I come down here, when I make a trip, I come down here, I'll go over to the municipal building. It had a records pool, and I just pay on the taxes when I come. But
So,
I
Mr.
okay.
but the
I'm sorry,
tax
I'm going
bill-
to interrupt here. Mr. Payne, what's the point? He's already given us an address.
Yeah, that's not the address.
Marcy
That's-
Street.
Yeah,
So we know that
yeah,
this
that's
is
not the
not a
address.
correct address.
And see, that's from 23, and it's still going to the wrong address.
Okay, so you're saying you didn't receive this bill, but you got your real estate tax information from coming downstairs.
Yeah. Every time I come here, you can look at my receipts. The city can pull them up. I go over to the municipal building. I get a number. They put my name in the kiosk, and they give me a number, and I get an updated bill, and I pay on the bill. The last time I came, you see I made a bill for the water and the taxes. I put $100 on the water, and I put $300 on the taxes. And
So
that-
thank you for your answer. So did the city, you're saying did the city inform you of your refuse bills? They only inform you of your.
I live in Virginia. I don't live in Philadelphia. My address is in Virginia. So when I came home, I wasn't required to travel in certain things. But my mail should have been updated in 2013.
So another bill the city has is your refuse bill, right? This is your 2023 refuse bill. It was also sent to the same address.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It keeps going. You saying like it goes to Lehigh, but it's going to different addresses. But like I'm not getting it. So if it came to the Boise, I mean that's
So if
23. I don't stay there now. I've been out of there for
Yeah, did you stay there then?
years. No, I've been at Marcy Street for 2.5, 3 years now.
So I guess let me simplify this. So your 2023 real estate bill and the refuse bill were sent to the same address. How did you get the real estate bill but not get your
Mr. Payne, could I
refuse bill?
interrupt? This has been asked and answered.
Yeah,
He
but I
went,
gotta-
he
the
went to
city-
MSP, Mr. Stop. This has been asked and answered. We get it. He went to revenue downstairs in the concourse. He got a printout. We stood in line. He got a number, stood in line, got the bill, is making payments. We recognize that. Ms. Jones has testified that his address was changed at some point to the Marcy Marcy Street 1. We understand that there have been address issues, so
Okay.
let's move on.
Okay. All right. Petitioner, I have one last question for you. So you say you got your real estate billing information from the downstairs, the MSB building, but why couldn't you receive the same information about your refuse bills
But
at the concourse level?
to be honest with you though, when you go to City Hall, the way they got it set up now, you get every bill. So when I originally came here, they gave me the original bill for everything. So you can't pay nothing at City Hall now. And I think y'all would know this is the new rule. It's called total compliance. So as I get one bill, I get them all. So that's when they gave me the refuse bill. They gave me everything. There's a couple other bills on there too. Any property that I own, I have to pay all the bills before I can get agreement for anything. I got to get it combined.
So you got all your bills on
But that's
2023.
not- but that-
I'm sorry,
we got
I'm sorry, Mr. Peng. Is this going to why he should not get relief on his interest and his penalty? Because at this point, you've asked the same question in multiple different ways, and I'm not really sure what you're trying to get at. Are you saying that this gentleman should not receive, or the board should not grant him a relief on his interest and penalty for this period of time? That's the question.
The issue is the city believe he does receive these bills at least at the same time he received his real estate bills.
But sir, you just showed the address. It's going to Boise Lane for 23. This is 20.
Okay, I'm gonna stop this unless there's some other topic that you want to cover, Mr. Peng. I think
Okay.
it's probably
All right,
ready to move on.
I'll move on. Okay. I'd like to ask some question for my for Ms. Dina Jones.
Mhm.
All right. Mr. Jones, have you reviewed petitioner's account?
Yes,
Is there a refuse account for this property?
yes.
So did he pay, how much did did petitioner pay any of the balance and any of the refuse bills at this point?
No, I don't see no payments.
Okay. So according to the city's information, what type of property is this?
Mixed use. Commercial
Okay.
mixed use.
Has petitioner applied for any refuse fee exemption?
No.
Okay. That's all my question. Thank you.
All right. Do any of the board members have any questions?
No.
I suggest we
No.
step back. Ms. Andre, everybody sit tight. The board is going to take a few minutes and discuss the matter.
Everyone is back, Paula.
All right, Tax Review Board is back in session. We have deliberated and considered information and testimony put forth by both parties. It is the decision of the Tax Review Board to abate all of the penalty and 1/2 of the interest that has accrued against this account and to provide Mr. Autry with 60 days from the date of the new bill in which to arrange to pay the balance in installments. Mr. Autry, you should understand that this abatement is contingent on payment in full through a payment arrangement, if that's what suits you. Should you fail to enter the payment arrangement or fail to complete it, the Department of Revenue will have the authority to reinstate all of the penalty and the interest we're waiving today. So can I get concurrence from my fellow board members?
Yes, John O'Connor, I concur.
Nancy Camerdiner, I concur.
George Matthews, I concur.
Paula Weiss, I concur. So Mr. Autry, before you go, just so you know, you're gonna get a letter from the Tax Review Board. You've done some of this, a letter within 2 weeks with that decision. Either party has the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas within 30 days of that letter. Barring that, you will get a TRB adjusted bill from the Department of Revenue. You will have 60 days from that time to reach out to the Revenue Department to enter into a payment agreement for the balance.
Yes, and if this was to happen again, do I have to come down and file a petition again?
No, if that were to happen again, I would suggest you contact the office for some assistance, whether it needs to be an amended decision to keep it, to reinstate it, or some assistance in contacting the Revenue Department.
Okay,
You're
thank
fine.
you.
Thank you. Take
And
care.
thank you, and thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Call the office and then we can get you an amended decision. We can tell us the revenue to do it again. All right?
Now.
Hold on one second. We can put the next one. Come on in.
Right, we're gonna move on to case number 3.
And don't forget to keep your voice nice and loud, okay?
Thank you.
Could you gentlemen sit down?
Yeah, hello, everyone.
Good afternoon. We are moving on to case number 3, which is last 4 digits of our docket, 5781-5156 West Stiles Street. Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Paula Weiss, Chair of the Tax Review Board. Could each of you please state your names for the record?
My name is Jamil Hankins.
And who do you have with you?
My name is Sharif
Sharif
Hankins.
Hankins, yes.
Do each of you swear or affirm that any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, we're going to turn to the city representatives first in order to get on the record the dollar amounts and years in controversy, and then we will come back to you. You explain to us why you're here, what you're looking for from our board. So, Mr. Peng?
Yeah. Mr. Jones, can you give us numbers?
The taxes are $2,584.84. The penalty is $716.28. The interest is $438.38, and the balance is $3,764.16, and it's for years 2017 to 2023.
Thank you. Mr. Peng, any opening comments?
Yeah, first of all, the board granted this petition non-proton. The city objects to non-proton considerations and asked the board to reject the petition as out of time. And unless the petitioner can show that they had neither actual constructive notice of the disputed bills until the 60 days before the petition date, 60 days before petition date should be roughly July 3rd, 2023. Yeah, otherwise city object to the non-proton consideration. That's the first issue.
Okay, so let's start there, Mr. Hankins. I'm not sure which of one of you is taking the lead. The city is objecting to your petition as having been filed late. There is a requirement for the Tax Review Board that these petitions for us to review must be filed within 60 days of the billing date. Although I'm looking at a September 1st bill. Can you tell us when you first became aware of these outstanding matters?
We became aware of them when we went to go try to get the renter's license renewed, and we were having all problems. They wouldn't get us, we couldn't go past that part until they said that.
And do you know when that was approximately?
That would be, it would be last year when we first filled out the petition here. We've been waiting for almost a year before we even got this court date.
Okay, and before that, had you ever received a bill for the commercial trash fee?
No.
No. Okay, so Mr. Peng, we're gonna go on, I believe, because the bill that is attached to our petition is dated September 1st, 2023, as is their petition. So, we're gonna move on. Do you have any other substantive, matter that you want to comment on before I go back to the petitioners?
Yeah, this is just announcement. The city did adjust the petitioner's IMP interest and penalty in accordance with the department level hearing decision. That adjustment, from my understanding, is still on the system currently, so the numbers reflects the departmental level adjustment.
And what was that adjustment?
The amount.
Interest and 50% penalty.
I'm sorry, 50%, did you say?
Yes, for both
Yes.
interest and penalty.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, thank you. That's helpful to know. All right, so Mr. Hankins, what would you like to tell us about this matter?
We're just a little confused with this matter because my brother lives there at the property. We filled out the paperwork. We've turned it over to the city more than once. Something's getting lost in conversation. We keep having problems with these same things. So now, one time my sister, who's part owner of the property, she even paid the tax just so we could try to renew our renter's license. And then they tell us like, well, now that you paid it, you always got to pay the trash tax, which doesn't make sense to us because he lives there. So if anything, wouldn't it be for just one of the properties and not the whole? If anything, would it be like half of the property or something? It's
All
like,
right, so let me just get some clarification. Why do you need a renter's license if your brother lives?
it's a duplex.
It's a duplex,
It's a duplex.
okay. And your brother, but he's not an owner.
Yes, he's on it. He's Yeah, on the B. He's on
He
the
is an owner,
Yes.
and he lives in one half of the property.
Right.
And you have filed exemptions with the city?
Okay,
Request?
we did not know what that was, and then we went to go file it. That's when everything went haywire with the city.
Sideways.
Yeah, when everything went sideways, and we've been fighting this. If you look on it, we've been fighting this for almost 2 years. This has been like a very bad situation.
All right, hang on. I have a question, Mr. Peng. Could you clarify for us the requirements and the ordinance requirements for a duplex that is being where one half of the duplex is for the owner?
From just on top of my head, from I believe from 2015 to end of 2021, date might not be exact. The duplex exemption is if owner live in one unit, it's 50%, and then from I believe 2022 forward, the exemption is 100%.
So then so has he been billed at those rates, or is this property being billed as though it is completely non-owner occupied?
Let me see.
Ms. Jones, you can answer.
Yes,
Yes.
it's
She's nodding her
being,
head, so I just figured.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Jones.
Okay.
You are looking
Yes.
at it, I'm sure.
I'm looking at his account. It's being billed as non-owner occupied because he never filed no exemptions, but the sister, one of them is not the owner. Sharif is not a part of the ownership. Sharina is. Sharina has been coming into the office and have been made aware of filing the exemptions and other, knowing about the refuse account.
That is true, and I'm here for Sharina because she's not here today because me and her handled most of the paperwork for our family.
Okay, does Sharina live in the property with
No,
you?
Sharina doesn't. Sharina doesn't.
Okay.
So may I ask some question for the petitioners?
Go right ahead.
So you're saying you live in either one of you or both of you live in this property for the disputed period. That is, I think 2017 to 2017, June 2017 to December 2023, correct?
To current, yes, to current.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any documents that can show that, like the bills under your name or some other documents?
Do you want a driver's license? You want a registration? What would you need?
Do you have a driver's license?
Right there,
Yeah,
yeah. He has driver's license. Somebody want to come around here and get it or put it to the.
Yeah,
school?
hold on. Miss Andre is going to come around.
No problem.
So while you're getting a license, I do have some further questions related to that matter. I'd like to show a couple documents. Let me just making sure I get the correct. Yeah, I'm not.
Just for the record.
Yes.
And I could make a copy of this if necessary.
Yeah, sure.
But Mr. Hankins, Jamil, he handed me his ID. It's a Pennsylvania identification card, and it clearly states his address is 5156 West Stiles Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
So, Miss Andre,
Yes,
can you tell me what was the date of the issuance date of the ID?
9/7/2024.
Okay. So it's very recent. So
Mr. Hankins, Mr. Jamil, how long have you lived in the property?
What's that? I've been there for a while.
A little more specific.
Like 16, 17, something like that.
Okay, so a couple of, when you say a while, you mean a number of years.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Peng?
okay. I want to share my screen again. So let me share screen too. Okay. So Mr. Hankins, so this is your 2023 commercial trash bill. You say at this point you live at the property, correct?
Yeah, he does.
But your mailing address is 6238 North 10th Street?
Yeah, you want me to explain that for you?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys been to 5156 West Stiles Street before, but I know now because of more modern technology, you hear about it more. But before it was like an internet thing that you hear about, people would steal your packages or mail it and stuff like that. I had I don't really, sneakers or something like I think it was like sneakers or some goods delivered one time and somebody took it. And I think it might happen twice. I mean, the area is right off of 52nd Street, a lot of people traffic. So I didn't feel too comfortable about using the address anymore because I was just spending stuff to give to people to take off my porch. So I would rather have it to that address.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Mr. Hankins, have you applied for homesteading exemption since you live here?
I'm sorry, what is that again?
A homestead exemption for your real estate tax?
I can help with that. Again, me and my sister are the ones that take care of all the stuff with the taxes and stuff. So we kind of missed some of the homestead exemptions for some of the things. This is kind of new to us. And if you see that the taxes really just jumped in the last 2 years, normally those real estate taxes have been like $500. So we just had them jump, as you can see, that they just jumped in the last. So we just started, again, while going downtown trying to take care of a lot of paperwork over the last 2 years is when we having all this pushback and all these problems. So that's why we wound up in here today.
Okay. So I think that you didn't apply for it?
The answer to the question is, while trying to apply for homestead is when we found out about the thing. So they stopped us while we were trying to get things together and told us we had to take care of this problem before we can start going into other things such as renter's license, homestead exemptions. They were giving us a lot of pushback downtown, told us we had to come take care of this.
I see. Okay. Okay. I have no more questions for the petitioner. I'd like to ask a couple questions. Was Mr. Jones, Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jones, have you reviewed the petitioner's account?
Yes.
Is it a refuse account for the property?
Yes.
Was this account ever closed?
No.
According to city's information, what kind of property is this?
Multifamily duplex.
Duplex, okay. So is this subject to refuse fee collection?
Yes,
Did petitioner apply for any sort of exemption to reduce or abate the refuse fees?
no,
According to the system, did did petitioner pay any of the refuse bills?
I see one, I see a couple payments, yes.
What about for disputed period? I think it's 2017 to 2023. Did they make any payments for those periods? One payments of how much was the payment?
$53,
$53.
yes.
Okay. Is it okay? Is it the refuse customer's duty to report change of addresses?
Yes,
Okay.
but if he's filing for an exemption and if he have an off-site mailing address, he would get denied every single time because you're not allowed to have an off-site mailing address if you say you stay in a property.
Okay. I have no more questions. I'd like to make a statement before the board deliberate. So Ms. Hankins did show us his ID, but ID is a 2024 ID, specifically September 2024 ID. So from city's perspective, unfortunately, that ID does not prove anything specifically as to whether the petitioner lived at the property during the disputed periods or not. However, the fact is the petitioner did the petitioner's address in the city system at a time of at a city system for the disputed periods were a different address than the property address where they claim they lived in there. I understand that petitioner have given a reason for why that is the case, but that remains to be the fact that petitioner claimed he lives at certain property but have the mail send it to a complete different separate address. The city would like to ask board to consider that factor, and then do not and I also asked the board not to consider the September 2024 ID because it's due to the issuance date of the ID is irrelevant to the case.
Okay,
City
thank you.
rest.
Thank you. I have one more question, Mr. Hank, before you'll have a chance to make a final comment. One more question. You stated that you had gone in for a rental license, and that's when a lot of this came to light. Was this the first time you had applied for a rental license?
This was the time when we were getting everything together with the property. So there was a time when we were just leaving it empty for a while because we was getting bad tenants and things of that nature. As we started to rev it back up and make the building, making sense again, we wanted to get the renter's license. Sometimes we would rent it to like a family member, and we all know what happens when you do that. So as we were going into trying to get into these different programs, the first thing you got to have for these programs, because we didn't want to mess with none of our family no more. You know what happens when you rent to family. So as we try to make it more better, these are all the problems we started running into.
Okay, and did you have any other final comments you'd like us to consider?
Yes, with his $53 thing, I don't know how the city does this new system they do, but sometimes we go in there and we pay taxes. And we pay our taxes, our real estate taxes. It's something in the city system that's taking money and curving it over to trash tax. Whether we are saying it's for trash tax or not, we go in there and say, hey, this is for real estate taxes. We have noticed this quite a few times. It's been happening for the last 2 years. So to say that we made a $53 payment for a trash tax, that's not something we did. That's something in the new system that the city has. If I'm not mistaken, the city has a new system in the last 2 years. It seems like it's had 2 new systems in the last 3 years. So we all know that it's something where that curbs money. Unfortunately, some of us don't, but that does happen. Secondly, to say that there is nowhere we can see the law that states that you cannot have another mailing address, because if we're using 5156 and we're stealing mail, we have to have some type of, so unless the city's going to put a security guard out there for us, so our mail's not being stolen, we try to come up with a plan so that we can get the mail, which is a better neighborhood where my dad lives at, send the mail up there so that we can get it. I never was told, we were never told anything such that you cannot have more than one address. Actually, in 2017, one of the city attorneys told me that you're allowed to have more than one address. So maybe it's people who are just making up rules when they're talking. Maybe somewhere we can find out the actual wording and legislation that says, hey, this is the bill, these are the
Well,
rules.
you can go online and look. The Philadelphia Code is online.
I've tried,
so-
I've read it. Okay.
Okay.
But
All
I
right.
have,
I guess I'll clarify. I'm not saying, Ms. Hankins, I'm not saying you're not allowed to have a separate mailing address to your property address. I'm just saying it's sort of odd that you live someplace and then have your mail sent there.
All right, well, let's not,
Okay,
all right,
okay,
we're
we're
not
not
gonna
doing
get into
this.
that. I think we've heard it all
I'm
of it.
sorry.
and
I
we're gonna-
apologize. That was
Okay.
my last thing was that he does have a car registration too that has that same address on
Okay,
it. But no problem.
I just have one last question to confirm. For the disputed period, that 2017 to 2023, roughly, did you say the property was vacant or not?
I said one of the apartments, so one of the apartments, the first floor apartment, we would either have a family person living there or it wasn't nobody living in there.
Okay, I understand. Okay. I just want to confirm. You didn't say the entire thing is vacant. Okay.
okay, so
Thank
we're
you.
gonna, thank you. All right, the board is gonna step back to deliberate. Everybody just stay where you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hankins, Sharif Hankins, this is the court reporter. Can I get you to spell your first name, please?
Yes, Sharif. Last name is Hankins, Hankins.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. All right. It's killing me. Okay. See real quick. It's interesting. Yeah, I think it's two.
I think it's two. That's That's like 2025.
Yeah, they already did no assessments. It was September. No assessments just came out.
Yeah, that makes sense to you?
I think that's when I had to go back and readjust everything. Nah, I think that's a typo.
That might be a title to say the drop $100,000 from 17 to 18. It's crazy.
Nah.
Okay, might be a typo. Improvement. $1 grand of tax now. 15. That's wild. That's wild.
Okay, the board should be back in a second.
All right, we have everybody back. Yes, yes, yes. All right. The Tax Review Board is back in session. Thank you all for your patience. We did discuss the information provided by both parties. And at this time, we are going to take this matter under advisement. Mr. Hankins, we're going to give you 2 weeks up until October the 8th to provide our office with documentation that one of the listed owners did in fact occupy the property during the period in question. We do need to see some documentation that one of you is living there. And once we do receive and review that documentation, we will make a decision and we'll call you back in to hear that decision, as well as send you a letter with that decision. So can I get concurrence for that part of the process from my fellow board members?
Yes, John O'Connor, I concur.
Nancy Cameradiner, I concur.
George Matthews, I concur.
All of Weiss, I concur. So you're going to get a letter from the Tax Review Board that explains to you the matters under advisement, that we are waiting for documentation from you to establish owner residence by one of the owners listed on the deed. And this goes up through 2023. I would, I guess, say to you that for 2024, you should file an exemption with the City Department of Revenue, request an exemption form requesting an exemption as having a duplex that is half owner occupied. And you did show us the 2024 documentation from your driver's license that you can then provide to the city. So we will wait for your documentation and then we'll be able to hopefully make a decision for your case. Okay. Yep.
Just let me know, what are the acceptable forms of documentation?
An insurance bill, a utility bill, a car
Okay.
registration,
That's perfect.
anything that's got your name on it.
Okay, that's
Okay.
perfect. Thank you. Thank
right.
you all so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
And that to be okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, and then we are going to move on to case number 6, which is 2214 South 15th Street. Last 4 digits of the docket, 6162.
Wait, you're not leaving me alone, are you?
I am. I have to.
I get so scared.
Mr. Levy, are you lonely over there?
What?
Are you lonely over there?
I am. I have to tell you, I was telling people that Ellen and I was the first ones to get back in business after COVID. And I believe the setup that you started is the same we have right now. There she is.
Hello, Mr. Levy.
Well, we're talking about it. We're in transition. All right, so we're going to move on to what is listed on our docket as case number 6, 2214 South 15th Street. Last 4 digits of the docket, 6162. Mr. Levy, would you identify yourself for the record,
I'm
please?
Bart Levy, attorney for Mohammed Shakrola.
Okay, is your client with us today or you're
Not
presenting?
today.
this? Okay.
I've spoken to him and I have authority to negotiate for him, or I should say, represent him.
Yep, thank you. All right, so we're going to turn first to the city representatives to get the dollar amounts and years in controversy, and then we'll come back to you. Mr. Peng?
Yeah, Ms. Jones, can you give us the numbers?
Sure, the taxes is $4,567.49. The penalty is $4,120.78. The interest is $2,841.84. And the balance is $11,530.11. And it's for 2010 through 2023.
Okay, Mr. Peng, any opening comments?
Yes. First of all, also this is a non-proton consideration. Again, city objects to non-proton consideration unless the petitioner can show that he had neither actual constructive notice of the disputed bills until 6 days before the petition date. Also, additionally, the city also has some documents consider the municipal court landlord tenant document that shows the petitioner did admit that he lives at the address the city sent the bills to. So let me share my screens.
We'll stipulate to that.
Okay.
We'll
All right,
stipulate to the
so-
balance as well.
All right, so Mr. Levy, are you here requesting an interest in penalty waiver or actual reduction in the principal amount as well?
Interest and penalties.
Okay, so Mr. Peng, for those purposes, we are not bound by the 60-day limitation under the
Okay.
Philadelphia code. So, Mr. Levy, what would you like to tell us?
My client wants to clear up this bill in its entirety. We'd like to offer you in settlement two payments of $3,000 to be spaced $60 at 60 days apart, and a final payment of $3,000 on the 180th day. So in other words, 60 days from now, we'd like to offer you $3,000. 120 days from now, another $3,000. And if the city will entertain, we'd like to settle the balance with a payment of $3,000 at the 180th day.
All right, so you're offering the city, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Peng in a second, just to be clear, a $9,000 settlement payment to be paid within 180 days.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Peng, I'm gonna, before the board goes further, do you want to
Yeah.
have a discussion with Mr. Levy?
I'm sorry.
That's, Mr. Peng, I'm turning, how do you want to proceed?
Was these terms the city believes it is acceptable?
Okay, so,
Before I do that, just want to make sure I got numbers right. Ms. Jones, can you repeat the numbers to me? I can't get on my city
She said
Prism
40
account.
4567 49 41 20 78 and
Good.
28 41.
the total being $11,530.11.
11 cents, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so the city is
Yeah.
willing to accept that?
Yes.
All right, so let me think about this.
That was easy.
There you go. I just have to figure out, so are we gonna affirm this, Ms. Andre? Or are we gonna do a no action needed and let them work it out?
I think we should do a no action needed and.
All right, so we're gonna, Mr. Levy, do you have Mr. Peng's contact information?
I probably do, but if you could just send me an email to BARTLEVYESQ, my first and last name, and then ESQ@gmail.com.
Okay, Mr. Peng, do you have that?
Let me see.
And we understand that the 11,530.11 will remain until the final $3,000 payment's made.
Yeah, I do have your email address.
Okay,
Mr. Levy.
so Mr. Peng, you'll contact Mr. Levy. The city has a standard settlement agreement form. I'm sure, Mr. Levy, that they'll
Yeah.
provide with that information. And then this board is going to render a no action needed determination. Can I get concurrence from the board members?
Yes,
John,
John O'Connor, I concur.
George,
George Matthews, I concur.
Nancy?
Nancy Camerdiner, I concur.
Always, I concur. Mr. Levy, you'll get a letter from the board in about 2 weeks, just noting that we have made that determination and closed the matter. You will hear from Mr. Peng to go forward with the payment agreement, and thank you very much.
Thank you for your courtesy. It's a pleasure doing business with you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, so I believe that we still have case number 4 on our docket.
That is correct, and I just checked the hallway here in 100 South Broad Street and the virtual waiting room, and there is nobody here.
All right, so case number 4, last 4 digits of the docket, 8623, 4207 Viola Street. The petitioner has not appeared, nor has any representative, nor have we heard from them. Mr. Peng, do you have any information about this case that you want to put?
Not at this moment. I guess this case was here back in May, if I remember correctly, and then I offered the petitioner to provide me with documents prove he has hardship to make normal payments. He hasn't responded to me or sent me anything at all. So after that, I have no communication with him.
All right, and we've had several hearing opportunities. I am seeing Ms. Andre.
This is 1 second. So it looks like it was
2019.
it's a petition from 2019.
Mhm.
He failed to appear in 2019. We granted him another hearing. It was continued in 2020, obviously, but that was maybe
It
because
was Corona.
yeah. Then again, in September of 2020, then a new address was provided to us from the petitioner, and it was continued. It was then again continued in 2022, continued in 2020. January of 2022, then August of 2022, then it was withdrawn in 2023. And then the petitioner requested a rehearing by filing another petition hold on one more second, because I just saw it. He filed another petition in December 15th of 2023. That went straight to the board because of the previous iterations throughout from the department level. And then he requested a continuance from the May 7th hearing. And then that brings us to today.
So I am going to recommend that this be denied for failure to appear with no further hearings granted.
I concur. John O'Connor.
Nancy Camerdiner, I concur as well.
George Matthews, I concur.
Otherwise, I concur. So this matter is now closed. The petitioner will get a letter within 2 weeks with that decision. And I believe that that completes our docket for today.
That is
All
correct.
righty.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks, everyone.
you.
Thank
Everyone
you.
have a good evening.
Fun.
Thank
See you
you.
Thursday.
evening.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.